This podcast is brought to you by Dox Deals. Find the best deals on gold and silver bullion online at sdbullion.com/deals. This week's deals include intro pricing of just 75 cents per ounce over spot on our brand new line of SilverTowne silver rounds and bars. Stunning silver at Stacker Premiums. SD Bullion now carries SilverTowne bullion. Find the best deals on gold and silver online at sdbullion.com/deals.
Hey everyone, this is Elijah Johnson with silverdoctors.com, and with us today is Rory Hall from the Daily Coin. Rory, thank you so much for joining us today.
Well, thanks for having me, Elijah. I really appreciate it.
All right, well, I'd first like to discuss about the precious metal markets. Did you want to give our viewers an update on the recent price actions we've been seeing and also your long-term outlook?
Well, the manipulation is in full force, and as we discussed on Shadow of Truth yesterday, these guys are just completely relentless, and it seems like they're having a harder time every single day getting any kind of movement. I mean, they're able to come in. What I see, Elijah, is that most of the manipulation when they come in and they bang the market is that it's been a little bit in hindsight. There's not a lot of front running that they've been able to do. And as far as my long term, I see nothing but a positive outcome to this. When that's going to happen, I have no idea. I mean, I'm of the belief that China has well within their sight a move either on the gold pricing mechanism, possibly the silver pricing mechanism, if not moving gold into a gold-backed currency in some form, either by way of a bond or the renminbi itself. And it could be in conjunction with Russia. As you are well aware, China and Russia are really, they have a great alliance at this point. They have the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, they have the Eurasian Economic Union, as well as the BRICS consortium. I mean, they've just got this massive banking infrastructure that has been built out over the past 5 or 6 years, and they have it's well known, or it's well thought, I should say, that China has a lot of gold within the country of China, not just the citizens, but the government itself. I mean, and Alistair McLeod's research has shown that China could possibly have 20 to 25,000 tons of gold. They don't have all that gold to make jewelry and trinkets. So I have to believe that they have plans to do something with it. So that's my long-term vision as far as what's going on with the day to day. I pay very little attention to it. I mean, I look at it, but it's not very important to me.
Now, about China accumulating a lot of gold, you were saying, is it correct that you're saying that you think they could possibly in the future have a gold-backed currency? And if so, how do you think that would impact the demand for the US dollar?
Well, it's no secret that the dollar is on its way out. I mean, that's in the cards already. I mean, the dollar is dead man walking at this point. I mean, China already has all these direct currency swaps that are all over the world with some of the largest economies in the world. And as far as how they're going to get there, I don't know. I mean, your guess is as good as mine. As far as them backing either a currency or a bond, it could go either way. I mean, they've gotten the blessing from the International Monetary Fund, the IMF. They've gotten the blessing from the World Bank to issue this new MSDR bond, and it appears, and I may be wrong in this, Elijah, but what it appears is that once this bond comes into the market, that they will have a little bit more control over it as far as how that bond is actually issued and how it's handled. So I hope that answers your question.
You've also talked about the physical gold exchanges around the world. For example, the one in Shanghai. If we move towards more physical exchanges, then how would that impact the ability of the powers that be to manipulate the price?
Well, you can always manipulate the price. There are multitudes of ways that they can do that, ways that we haven't even dreamed of yet. And as far as the Shanghai Futures Exchange for physical gold, I mean, I see that the way that I see that playing out is the way that I heard Craig Hemke describe it, as there being a arbitrage uh, being created or developing within the Shanghai Futures Exchange versus the LBMA and the COMEX. And once that arbitrage reaches a particular point, then the market has to shift. It would be a natural occurrence. And what we're already seeing is, as Bill Murphy, I spoke with him yesterday, and as he was talking about the arbitrage in the silver market and the physical silver market on the Shanghai Futures Exchange. All last week, the week of October 17th, there was an 80 plus cent per ounce difference in the physical silver and the paper silver. And that represents about a 45% difference. So what is it going to take for it to reach the point of no return? Once again, I don't know. I mean, these guys have proven beyond question that they can develop ideas that I would never. I can't. I can think criminally. I can't think in criminal terms at that depth. I really can't. I mean, it's beyond me. So, but make no mistake about it, these guys have tricks up their sleeves that we have never dreamed of.
Now, when investing in precious metals, do you see that the paper forms of precious metals, such as ETFs or futures or options or stuff like that, do you see that not as a safe investment? Instead, should people focus on investing in physical gold? What is your perspective on that?
Stay away from paper. And as far as the ETFs, I mean, the only one that I would even discuss is Eric Sprott's, the physical silver and physical gold ETFs that he has. I trust him. I trust his companies. And I believe that, I mean, if he tells me that there's silver there to back up the contract, then I believe that. Otherwise, if you don't own it, if you don't hold it, you don't own it. And that's been proven time and again, you know, with what just happened a few weeks ago. I mean, with this company out of Germany that was very loosely associated with Deutsche Bank and their physical gold. When somebody went into a Deutsche Bank branch and said, "I'd like to collect my physical gold," and they said, "Well, you're in the wrong spot. We're not going to give you any gold because we don't have to." And I foresee that people are confused as far as ETFs are concerned. A lot of people think that if they have shares of GLD or SLV in particular, which are the two largest ETFs out there for precious metals, I think that most people believe that they have some type of physical gold. They don't, period. There is no physical gold for them to get their hands on. It's just another form of manipulation, in my opinion. Once again, if you don't hold it, you don't own it. You have to have physical gold, physical silver in your possession at arm's length in order for it to. That's my view on it anyway.
I'd like to move our focus now to the economy. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe recently in a podcast, you were talking about that if the government allowed the economy to completely collapse in 2008 and they didn't bail out the banks or do any of these stimulus programs, quantitative easing by the Fed, we would be on the road to recovery right now. And in your view, right now, after all this stimulus by the government trying to prop up the system, we are not on the road to recovery. Did I capture your view on that correctly?
Yes, the too big to jail banks, they should have all been arrested. The banks, the institutions that were involved, all of the institutions, the insurance companies, the banking institutions, all of them, they all should have failed. And my personal belief, I have no proof of this, but what I personally believe is that there was a derivatives problem. I think that derivatives problem is still out there. I think that it manifested itself in 2015 at the Hetta Bank when the Hetta Bank in Austria blew up. 2 weeks later, a bank in Germany blew up because of their exposure to derivatives at the Hetta Bank. And I think that what we're witnessing right now with the ongoing money printing by the Federal Reserve and the European Central Bank in particular, and not to mention the Bank of Japan, that they're still trying to paper over a situation that they can't paper over. I mean, they're just managing a fire that is, it has to get away from them at some point. That's the bottom line. I mean, and we're starting to see some of these major cracks in the system. And I don't think they can hold it together too much longer. I mean, but we've all been proven wrong on that for years. So, I mean, can they keep it together for another 10 years? I don't see how. I mean, it could happen, but I mean, our system should have imploded in 2008. It didn't. We're dealing with the wreckage and the carnage that was created at that point. We've been dealt nothing but lies, deceit, and propaganda ever since. Our system is failing. Our system has failed. China knows this. Russia knows this. India knows this. All of the larger economies, they all know this. They're all benefiting from what's going on. Otherwise, they would have shut it down. So, or does that mean that they're working in collusion with the U.S. government? I have no idea. I just know that everybody around, or a lot of people, a lot of the governments around the world are trying to distance themselves from the United States and our failed economy and our failed system at this point. That's what I see. And I just, I want it to collapse, but then again, I don't. Do I want to live in a world where an economy is completely collapsed? I don't think so. I mean, I don't know what that looks like. I mean, because I think that it would make, I think that a total system collapse at this point, similar to what happened in the Great Depression, would make that look like a beautiful Sunday afternoon.
So, in your perspective, the last question I was going to ask you is, how can people prepare for this collapse that you think is inevitable?
I think by having a year or more supply of food, water, security, and a bug out plan is crucial. Having gold and silver for afterwards is crucial. Those are just keep it simple. You know, as Gerald Celente says, gold, guns, and a getaway plan. Meaning that's it, the 3 Gs. And that's what you need. And if you are forced, which most people will be, forced to bug in, stay in where you're at, then make sure that your home is secure. Make sure that you have at least a year's worth of food. Make sure that you have at least a year's worth of water and plenty of ammo to go with it to protect it. to protect your family. Like I said, gold and silver. I hate that what people say. Well, you can't eat gold. Well, you can't eat dollar bills either. And who's going to take a worthless piece of currency? How many hundreds or thousands of scripts is it going to take to get a loaf of bread if the system has collapsed? It's so that's what I think that people need: guns, gold, and a getaway plan. And to have those secure, to have those in place now, you got to get busy. Got to get busy.
Well, Rory Hall, thank you so much for joining us today. Before we let you go, did you want to share with the viewers where they can find you and any last thoughts you had?
Sure. You can find all of my original work as well as aggregate news over at thedailycoin.org, and I have two different YouTube channels. One is The Daily Coin, and the other one that I co-host with Dave Kranzler is Shadow of Truth. And I just hope everybody stays safe, and I hope that Hillary Clinton goes to prison soon.
All right. Well, Rory Hall from The Daily Coin, thank you so much for joining us today.
Well, thank you, Elijah. I really appreciate it.